Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze said at his weekly presser to expect no significant changes on offense. Why?
Freezing temperatures are likely for several hours inland and a few hours closer to the coast.
Yes.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. And happy Charlie Tuesday to all who celebrate, as we are celebrating with Auburn Message Board Legend, the Charlie5, and in his extremely bougie refrigerator behind him on today's show.
Stainless
Hugh
steel.
Freeze, you can tell, baby. Let's go. Hugh Freeze spoke to the media yesterday. Several things to talk about there. Then also, of course, a new commitment for the Auburn Tigers. We'll discuss what all that means. But the thing that stood out to me the most, and it was two-pronged. The first is he said expect no significant changes to the offense on Saturday. And then also that we'll still, expect to see both quarterbacks, Peyton Thorne and Robbie Ashford, on the field this Saturday. And I guess my biggest question is, why are we still doing this, right? Because I think you have to react to Hugh Freeze presser a little bit different than normal, because we've kind of already said, okay, he's honest, he's telling the truth, and until he does otherwise, I think we have to treat it as such. It's I don't feel like it's just a coach speak type thing, Charlie5.
Well, if there were going to be changes, what do you think he would share?
I think you would word it differently. I think you would say, we'll see. I think we need to change our approach to a few things, or, hey, we saw some things that worked. We're going to focus on those and maybe move on from the things that didn't. I think there were plenty of ways you could word that.
Sure. Well, I don't think he told us that Caleb Burton was going to start. He didn't tell us that we'd have a shakeup in the wide receiver room. He didn't tell us that Brandon Frazier was possibly going to be a part of the game plan moving forward. I don't know that I take as much away from that statement. I can see how it can be concerning. Hey, you're saying you're not going to change anything, and look at the performances we've had against Power 5 teams, especially the last 3 road games. Hey, lie to us or something. Say we're going to do something. And then on the flip side, I don't really know at this point what a whole lot of things that you can change. It's not like he can just automatically go to calling plays if he's not already doing that, which I don't think he is, because he said it's not my terminology. It's Phillips. It'd be like you getting on the Xbox and then playing a completely different playbook that you're not used to, calling plays of. It's just not that easy. So, A, I don't know exactly what all you can change in a week's time. And then B, I don't really know how much he actually would share if that were the case. I just don't think he would say, I'm going to start Robbie, or no, I'm not going to rotate quarterbacks, because then you just kind of know what to defend. At the opposing coach, you kind of already you've shown your card, so to speak. So I'm saying
I get it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that there are going to be changes that he's just keeping from us. We may be at the point in the season where it's look, you just got to hang in there and try to get to a bowl. I think that's kind of seems like where we're at right now. And continue to build, continue to possibly, build the recruiting class and bring in better guys. I mean, I honestly, I think that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, a lot was made about the comments for Caleb Burton getting the start, and we talked about that the previous 2 shows here on Locked On Auburn. Props to Caleb Burton, but he played 11 snaps. Let's not act like he was this massive part of the game plan. They went to him twice early, then that was it. Why was that it? No clue, but that was part of what they designed, I guess. So
also went to Camden Brown early, and then
twice in a row,
and then didn't do it again.
Yeah, that's right. So
I don't know. That's another thing. That's another real quick. That's another thing is when we say things like we went to him and then didn't go back to him again. Does that mean that we just didn't think that they could make another play, or they didn't get open again? Sometimes I feel like that's something easy that we can say, but we don't really know how the rest of the game. We can't really know how the rest of the game played out. Did Camden Brown did he play more snaps? Did he not play more snaps? Was he not open? It's just so many things. I think we're so frustrated. We're just grasping at any possible thing that we possibly can, and I get all of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly not working. Like, whatever's happening isn't working. Cam Brown played 20 snaps. 16 of them were on passing reps. So it's like, okay, we started on 2 of those in a row. But Hugh addressed that after the game and said it was RPO, and every other time they like moved the safety up, and that kind of changed the play for the RPO, which is cool, right? I mean, that's what Hugh Freeze does, is he's the RPO guy, and it's worked everywhere it's been. It's just not quite working yet, but we're all expecting it to eventually get to that point. So we'll see. I trust them still up to this point. But as far as the 2 quarterback comment, I'm going to be a little surprised if he handles the quarterbacks the same way. Charlie5. I'm just going to be honest with you.
In which way?
With how even the snap counts are. I think it's going to be more lopsided one way or the other right now. So Peyton got 17 snaps. I'm sorry, Peyton got 48 snaps. Robbie got 17 snaps. And I think it's going to be either more Peyton. Peyton gets 90%, 90 to 95% of the snaps, and you take less Robbie. Or you give Robbie a ton more snaps, and maybe you start Peyton and you give him a really short leash, and then once you put Robbie in, I think that's it. I just don't know how they can continually go back to the film and keep saying the best thing for Auburn is to handle quarterbacks the same way that they have been.
Yeah, and I get that, and I tried to go back and like think about how the game actually went versus when we were really having this conversation. And like Cal to me was the worst it could be. The Cal was like we'd be on our own 40 and we'd swap in on first. And I don't really feel like since Cal it's really been the same. Like Peyton goes all the way down the field. We get to the red zone. We put Robbie in. Peyton was struggling. You put Robbie in for like 2 full drives in the second half. I think that's the way it started out in the second half. It didn't really go like I just don't feel like there's really been this like it's not working, but I just don't feel like it's been the whole anytime a quarterback switches, I feel like we're triggered to I guess be against it. But I don't necessarily think it's just been like this whole like someone gets in a flow and then you take them out and then you put them. It seems like Robbie is very situational until, you got to have a spark, and then they give it to him. For a period of time to try to get a spark. And he did it. He did it to open the half and got us a field goal, I think, right out of second half. But I don't know, man. It seems like they're just trying to find something, trying to find a spark somewhere, and just not having a lot of success doing it.
Yeah. And then I think the other thing just is as far as the offensive philosophy not changing a whole lot. Like you can't go 3 drives before you run the ball. That can't happen again against an Ole Miss team where their makeup is similar to LSU, right? They were able to go toe to toe with them and score 1 million points to win after LSU scored 1 million points minus 10, right? I mean, that was a crazy, remarkable game because both teams could score every 3 plays. They're similar. Now, the fact of the matter is, you're playing at home in a place where Ole Miss hasn't played well at Jordan-Hare Stadium, which is great, versus playing LSU in Baton Rouge, where Auburn historically hasn't played well. So I think that's a huge factor, and we'll talk about that over the course of the week. But as far as the approach to this game is, you're going to need long drives on offense to keep Lane Kiffin's offense on the sideline. I mean, it's the same goal that you had against LSU. Yeah,
and I don't know that just simply running the ball is how you achieve that. I think you can achieve it in a lot of different ways. The first drive, you start off with a false start, and then you have what I consider 2 great play calls back to back. You hit one, and you make a bad throw on the other, and then you snap the ball over somebody's head. And then I don't know that our yards per carry was that incredibly impressive against LSU. But again, you got to slow the game down. You don't want to get into a track meet again against Ole Miss, and just hope that the atmosphere and the defense can sort of cause some turnovers, create some negative plays, and then you can convert a little bit more, because Hugh said we had 4 drives, I think, that we had opportunities to cut it to a 1-score game. And, we screwed up on 3 of them. And then one, apparently they made a really good play on one and shut us down. So, if you convert on, 2 of those, it could be a completely different ballgame. And maybe at home that helps. Who knows?
Yeah. The average yard per rush was 4.1.
Not terrible.
And the average yards per pass attempt was 5.
Yeah. So
that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. Pretty bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, you weren't great either, right? But still, it's just to come out of the bye week with all that momentum. You're talking me off the ledge, though. So I appreciate that. Happy Charlie Tuesday. Thank you so much.
Think about this. Think about this. We came off the bye week with momentum, and we gained, I think, 13 yards less than the week prior. You had 13 yards total less of offense from week to week, and we feel this much different after this game than this one. Does that make sense? So, like,
it does, but the context here is LSU's defense stinks.
Sure, but but they still have dudes. Like, and they've played some of the more explosive offense. Look, I get it. You should be able. I'm not trying to say it's acceptable. What I'm saying is you go out and you do essentially you have almost the identical game back to back, and one we left feeling really good, and then this one obviously we feel really, really bad because it got away from us early, and we obviously can't score. We couldn't score with them. So
all right.
It's just perspective, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think this is I think that's enlightening. There's no question about it. We're booging on this Charlie Tuesday, as we always do. I love it. All right, Hugh Freeze or Philip Montgomery. Let's talk about the whole play calling situation. That's coming up right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at LinkedIn Jobs. Question, Charlie5. Can you imagine hiring somebody and not using LinkedIn Jobs?
That'd be just crazy, is what it would be.
Think about the candidate that you hired outside of using LinkedIn Jobs. How would you describe that candidate that's not using LinkedIn Jobs?
Probably a bum. I don't know.
Loser? A joke?
Yeah. Fire.
But describe the candidate you would find or would expect to find using LinkedIn Jobs for free when you go to linkedin.com/lockedoncollege.
I'm going to say 5-star. 5-star.
Yeah. LinkedIn Jobs today help you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. You can post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. It's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Today's show is also brought to you by our favorite type of wealth management, the active wealth management. You can go to activewealth.com. You can check out our guy, Ford Stokes, one of the more handsome people on the planet, but he's also very handsome with your money. He's written several books, including our favorite, Annuity 360, which you can go to annuity360.net for a free book. He'll give you this for free. Can you imagine, hey, here's how to make a lot more money in your retirement for free? Here, just order my book.
Exactly.
I don't know how he does it.
I sleep with mine.
I've watched him sleep. It's true. He just cuddles it like a little teddy bear. It's wild. It's crazy. But be sure, seriously, hit up our friend, Ford Stokes, activewealth.com. You can schedule a free consultation there, of course. Get his book for free. You have nothing to lose except for a lot of money if you don't do it. So annuity360.net for a free book, activewealth.com. Charlie5, the ongoing storyline, right? Hugh Freeze, this great play caller throughout his entire coaching career, gets to be head coach at Auburn, not calling plays, brings in Philip Montgomery to do so, right? That's where we are up to this point in the season. And the whole point of this is so he can devote extra time to recruiting and other things that are involved into building a program, which makes sense, right? I mean, you look at what Philip Montgomery's track record is coming into, and it's like, this makes sense. until you look at the product on the field and it's like Auburn's not moving the ball consistently and scoring enough points. What do you do? So now the question is, and I ask you this question, is it worth it up to this point? Is it worth going 6-6, 7-5? Because I do think Hugh Freeze calling plays wins you an extra game and a half or so. I really believe that. Is it worth it up to this point when you look at this recruiting class? And we'll talk about the addition of Jordan Crawford in the 2025 class in a second. But is it worth it to you?
I would think if you watch Hugh's press conferences, I bet he doesn't feel like it's worth it. But I honestly think that in the long run, it's going to be. I really do. If Hugh calls plays, you may win. You may go 8-4, 9-3 at best.
Ceiling,
maybe.
Sure. Right.
Do recruits? I don't know that. I feel like recruits are a lot more liable to attach or have that connection when they have you can look at it. You get blown out at LSU and then look at our visit list for Ole Miss this upcoming year. Like, is winning 2 more games or 1 more game, 1.5 more games? Is it worth all of the work that he's put in to be able to start repairing relationships, building this? We're number 7. If you take average player ranking, we're number 7 in the country. So like we have 17 commits. We're definitely going to add more. We added one today for the 2025 class. You have 2 of the top 5 receivers in the country coming this weekend. You have 2 of the top JUCO players in the country coming this weekend, fresh off getting your tail beat at LSU. I see him do a press conference, and I know that he hates it. Like you can see it in his face that he's
so competitive.
He hates this, but I'm telling you guys, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Jordan Crawford and the pipelines and things like that you can see him doing. I said when after Brian Harson's first year, I do not care about the final wins and losses if the right things are being done. And you're fighting your tail off to build this roster, and we're so behind that I just think he made. I called it a calculated error in a conversation, and somebody said, "How do you know it's an error when you don't know, you don't see the end result?" So he made a calculated decision that, hey, look, is 1.5 to 2 more wins this year worth what it could cost me in time that I can spend on the road the Monday after the Georgia game. So our bye week. Now it is bye week, so yeah, you do have a little bit more free time. On the bye week, he was in Birmingham. He made 3 or 4 stops in Birmingham. Then he went to Saraland to watch Ryan Williams play, and then he went and spoke at like a touchdown club in Mobile, all on a Monday. Okay, that's over 400, 500 miles of driving in one day, and he does that stuff because he's not having to. You can't just like go pull out your Xbox. I made another Xbox reference. You can't just go pull out your NCAA 14 game plan and just start calling plays. Like, it's a whole deal. Like, it devotes so much time. The 1 week he said that he was more involved, he basically said, I lost a little bit of time recruiting. I think this year is going to be tough. Look, and you thought you may have hit on a ready-made quarterback in Peyton Thorne. You match that with an experienced play caller in Philip Montgomery, and whether Peyton Thorne's a miss or it's not a fit with Philip Montgomery, it's just not working. So look, you've gone this far. Let's get to 6 wins, 7 wins, maybe get lucky, knock off Alabama at the end of the year, put all your eggs in that basket, but recruit your tail off and keep going the way it's going, because there is a ton of positive momentum, and this weekend could just be another brick in the wall of this class. And I think, again, I said calculated error. I think it was just a calculated decision. I don't know that it's necessarily an error yet. It's tough as fans, though, to be patient.
Yeah, especially when you see everybody that you're playing like have these great years, and it's just, you want to be a part of that, but you've got to do this kind of stuff first. You got to do this kind of stuff first to get to that point. So hopefully they get there. I think the talent's coming. I firmly believe that. I know you do as well. And we'll certainly see if they get one or two more guys that they're going after. I mean, this is a top 10 class, no matter what metric you look at. So
Absolutely.
We'll see how all that falls together. And ultimately we'll see what happens this weekend against Ole Miss. Auburn added a 2025 commit who's very good on the field, but you think it's bigger than that, Charlie5. And we'll get your thoughts on that a little bit more in just a moment, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at PrizePicks. Charlie5, you use PrizePicks.
Oh,
I use PrizePicks. Charlie5 bought that refrigerator behind him by playing PrizePicks, actually.
100% off of it.
Because he's so good at picking all of these stats, and you bet if it's over or under. You don't bet, you choose it. It's a game of skill, baby. Let's ride with PrizePicks. But yeah, it's the most fun you've had winning up to 25 times your money this football season. Charlie5 bet like $4, and he just kept winning over and over and over again. And it turned into that stainless steel refrigerator that's behind him. So PrizePicks offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. We call it Charlie Tuesday here. Each Taco Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts a player projection up to 25% to provide even more value. PrizePicks now offers Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks.com/LockedOnCollege. Use code LockedOnCollege. PrizePicks, it's daily fantasy sports made easy. Charlie5, Auburn adds 2025 defensive lineman Jordan Crawford. He goes to Parker, which is in Birmingham. And this is a guy, he's a 4-star stud. I mean, this guy is still has a year and a half left of high school, and he's 6'1", 6'2", depending on where you look, 300 pounds, moves very, very well along the defensive front. But you believe this addition to the 2025 class is bigger than just his ability to play football at a high level?
Absolutely. Look, Jordan Crawford's an unbelievable player. I think he'll be a stalemate in the trenches for several years. 6'1", 300, but athletic enough to play, on the nose or shade out, whatever he has to do. He's very versatile. But look, this is kind of the thing that I'm talking about. On the Monday when Hugh Freeze was in Birmingham, he was making stops at the Birmingham version of like the Madhouse training in Montgomery, that churned out a Quay Russaw and a James Smith. He's at the step-by-step training facility meeting with Coach L. And I think they even tweeted it out that he was there. This is where all these Birmingham guys work out. You got your Jordan Crawford, you got your Jeremiah Beeman, Jason Jones, who's already on the team. Yeah. Then you start looking, you got Caleb Harris, safety from Thompson, who's going to be here this weekend, who many think it's possible he could hopefully he could pull the trigger this weekend. You maybe start a pipeline with Thompson. It's just so many things that recruiting is just so much bigger than just like finding a 4-star and going and recruiting them. It takes so much time and so much effort to foster these relationships. And then not only that, so you got Jeremiah Beeman that you're going hard at, that you feel really good that you could possibly flip in this class. You got Jordan Crawford. Well, then you got Naheem Alford, who's also on the exact same team, who's possibly going to be the number 1 player in the state in 2025. 5-star corner, 6'1", 200 pound, freak athlete. Like, these are the kind of things that it's like that could be that, we'd always joke the domino that fall. Like this is kind of what we're talking about. You get a player like this. Does it parlay into a Beeman? Then you get a Naheem Alford. Then you get a Caleb Harris. Then you got a pretty solid stronghold. A couple of years down the road, you're going to get the quarterback from Thompson, was an all-world freshman, whose name's leaving me. Seaborn, Trent Seaborn. Yeah. You got him. That could possibly fall in that mix too. So
he comes down all the time.
It's all about. Yeah, he's here. He's here almost. I think he'll be here this weekend as well. Those are the kind of things that you have to have. That you have they're the small things that take time. that take effort that a lot of times position coaches are doing. And our head coach is out there, going head, like all these guys, you talk about their lead recruiter, it's Hugh. Like Hugh's the one calling them daily. Their position coaches are talking to them, but Hugh's calling them daily. Hugh's talking to them, all the time. He's going to their workouts. He's going to their practices. Like this is the way he felt he needed to come in and build this program. And we're obviously, you're not going to see the results yielded immediately, but like this is the kind of stuff that has to be done. We are not even in the conversation with Ryan Williams if Hugh is not the number one guy involved. And we're almost like hoping that he reclassifies because he could, met Hughes telling you, hey, you could be one of our starting wide receivers next year. Like you're that good. We need you that bad. But we're not even in that conversation if Hugh Freeze is not at the lead of that recruitment. So again, it's frustrating, but like you start to see little building blocks like this pay off, and you feel like hopefully it's going to be worth it to weather the storm, get to a bowl game, get better, and then maybe be able to hit the ground running with a young and talented team, add a few portal guys that could supplement. And then in 2025, you're ready to go with a bunch of, excuse my language, a bunch of badass sophomores and dudes ready to go play and ready to go make a run for the playoff.
All right. I went into this totally Debbie Downer, and now I'm ready to book. Let's beat Ole Miss on Saturday. Charlie5, how can people give you some love, brother?
Absolutely. Find me on Twitter at @the_Charlie_5 and the Locked On Auburn Discord every single day, or auburnlive.com, the corner message board, or weekly on the Dad Bod Golf Pod.
Yes, and hey, be sure to be a Locked On Auburn insider. You can text with me directly, as well as kind of get behind-the-scenes scoop. I'm going to start putting more and more stuff into that. It's in the link in the episode description down below. Happy Charlie Tuesday to everyone. Tell somebody that you're booging today, and we'll see you tomorrow. This has been Locked On Auburn.